I'm Courtney.
Kim.
Sarah.
Kim.
Brian. Mark.
Imagine with me for a moment that you are 8 years old again, and you're on your way to SeaWorld, a magical place where you can receive up-close and personal encounters with many different marine animals, including killer whales. You've arrived at SeaWorld, and you're sitting in your seat waiting for the killer whale show to begin, and you cannot contain your excitement. Your anticipation is finally met with a trainer coming over the loudspeaker welcoming you to Shamu Stadium. Suddenly, the star of the show emerges. A 20-foot-long, 6-ton black and white beauty does a flip right before your eyes. And all you can feel is pure wonder. The magic that's in the air is all you're focused on, and the fact that this magnificent creature that is the size of a school bus is living in a bare, 15 feet deep, 150-foot-long tank, which is to them about the size of a bathtub, doesn't even cross your mind. Now, I'm sure most of you have experienced the wonders of SeaWorld, but have you ever questioned what happens behind the scenes? SeaWorld has parks in Florida, Texas, and California. People travel from all over the world to visit SeaWorld and explore the hidden wonders of the ocean. In 2011, SeaWorld San Diego's attendance was 4.3 million people. SeaWorld has never really been questioned by the public about the treatment or conditions of their animals, until the release of a revealing and emotional documentary in 2013 called Blackfish. SeaWorld claims the film to be false and misleading. However, their ticket sales and share prices plummeted shortly after the release. The heart of the documentary highlights the death of one of the orca trainers. In 2010, Dawn Brancheau was dragged underwater by a killer whale named Tilikum. During the live show, Tilikum dragged her by her hair to the bottom of the performance tank, where she eventually drowned. After Brancheau's tragic death, questions began to be raised about the safety of the trainers at SeaWorld and why Tilikum all of a sudden snapped and dragged her to the bottom of the tank. 3 years later, Blackfish was released. It directly scrutinized the captivity of orcas and blamed the death of Dawn Brancheau on SeaWorld's treatment of the whale. Orca whales are one of the only other mammals besides us that are fully self-aware, so just like us, they need stimulation. They swim over 100 miles a day, according to SeaWorld.org, in the open ocean, so living in a space that is only 15 feet deep and 150 feet wide just isn't sufficient. Another important thing to consider about whales is, like humans, orcas develop very tight family-knit bonds. From the time a calf is born to the time the mother dies, they are inseparable. Helen Morrison, a well-known zoologist, says that orcas suffer hugely as a result of the captivity because in the wild they form strong family bonds that are not allowed in captivity. According to Blackfish and other sources, there have been numerous occasions when a calf has been separated from its mother after birth. 6 of the current SeaWorld whales were separated from the mother between the ages of 2 and 4 years old, for various reasons. In the film, you can hear the cries of a mother and the calf that are unmistakably the cries of heartbreak after they were separated. Not only can we see the effects of captivity through the actions and emotions of the whales, but also through their physical appearance. I'm sure if you've taken part in one of SeaWorld's live shows, you've seen the droopy dorsal fin on top of every whale. According to the dodo.com, 100% of male orcas at SeaWorld have a collapsed dorsal fin, while not one has been seen in the wild. Naomi Rose, a noted marine mammal scientist with the Animal Welfare Institute, says that the reason for the collapsed dorsal fin is unknown, but the evidence is clear that some aspect of captivity is the reason. In a live debate about the issues surrounding SeaWorld that was brought about by Blackfish, Christy Burtis, senior animal trainer at SeaWorld, Todd Robeck, SeaWorld veterinarian, and Naomi Rose discussed some of the claims made by both sides. SeaWorld's biggest claim is that their animals are the ambassadors for the animals in the wild. But what makes a more effective ambassador? An animal that's been thriving in their natural environment, or one that's languishing in a tank? They also defend the claims made against them by saying the animals in captivity help them to gather research to help with animal conservation on a large scale. But we have to ask ourselves, is the conservation programs actually legit? Rose states that to save the world's most endangered porpoise, it would only take 4% of their annual profits. If this is the case, then why haven't they done it? Or something close, for that matter. After all the scrutiny that caused SeaWorld's popularity to diminish, they released an open letter to the public responding to the criticism, and they also launched a website called SeaWorld Cares to combat the accusations. In the letter, they note that the people claiming to be former orca trainers at SeaWorld had very little to no actual hands-on experience with Tilikum specifically, but yet they spoke of the film as if they had an intimate knowledge and experience with him. According to SeaWorldCares.com, SeaWorld claims that the film is biased and untrue, considering the frontrunners of the film are animal rights activists that had already filed a lawsuit against them in previous years. But biased or not, there is still one undeniable fact that cannot be ignored. The whale's lifespan in captivity is not even half of what it is in the wild. An orca in the wild lives anywhere between 40 to 60 years, but in captivity, the average lifespan is only 13 years. Now, whether or not the movie Blackfish was completely truthful and unbiased, the problem is still very clear. Even without the emotional and persuasive aspects of the documentary, a 6-ton whale is completely unfit for a captive lifestyle. Whales, and any other animal for that matter, do not need to be kept in captivity for their whole lives. Places like SeaWorld that claim to be striving for conservation could still gather knowledge about these wonderful creatures by observing them in their natural habitat alone.